Uh, okay, so good morning and welcome to the third session in our series of classes on enjoying your daily practice. And so today is Sunday, January the 26th. And just to give a quick review of where we've been, in the first two classes, we focused a lot on setting our motivation for doing a daily practice. We focused on recollecting the meaning of going for refuge, the refuge precepts, and the benefits of going for refuge, and the importance of our relationship with our spiritual teacher. We went through the visualization of the merit field in some detail and quickly went through the seven limb prayer and the mandala offering. So if you missed the classes and you're interested in those topics, please go back and listen to the recordings. So in today's class, we will be talking about how to prepare an altar, and how to create a space for your meditation practice in your home, and how to do water offerings and light offerings. So as we prepare for addressing those topics, then our motivation today should be one of reviewing the topic of karma, because by understanding and respecting the way karma functions, then we have an additional understanding, a deeper understanding of the meaning for doing a meaningful daily practice, right? Because we understand the importance of refraining from engaging in negativity, and then also purifying any misdeeds that we've created in the past. So there are negative actions in three different, aspects of our behavior. And so the first is the negative actions of the body, which is lying, killing, killing, stealing, and sexual misconduct. And then speech, which is lying, idle gossip, and divisive speech. And then the third is negative actions of the mind. So that would be malice, covetousness, and wrong view. And so since the actions of the mind drive the actions of the body and speech, then actions of the mind are the most important. If we had to choose between the three, which is an unfair choice, but understanding that aspect of our behavior is most important, since it fuels the other two. So just to review really quickly, so for covetousness, that's wanting more of what we already have, and being very unable to let go of what we have, to just want more and more and more and more, that accumulation itch, so to speak. And then in addition, it's, looking at what our neighbors have and thinking, oh, I want that too, right? So it's wanting what somebody else has. And because of that desire, then we feel like, we have to go out and get it, right? We have to acquire it. We have to obtain it at no matter what cost, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's what sets up, a chain of more and more negative actions, right? And so it's, even more importantly, becomes a habit. And so we're likely to continue to crave and grasp and covet in the future. So it's a bad habit. And so that bad habit, just snowballs and increases our suffering. So that's why we are in the desire realm, right? And so the malice then is the wish, it's closely related to covetousness in a way, because malice is the wish to harm somebody else, right? So if somebody else has something you really want, then you're very likely to, hurt somebody else just to get what you feel so frustrated about because you want it so badly. You're so frustrated. I'm just going to get it. Right. So, and it's in a way, it's worse than, just like a temporary flash of anger. You just get mad and then it's like a spark that blazes up and then just is extinguished, right? Rather, malice can be sort of a slowly marinating, slow burning, like a slow burning coal that just goes on and on and on and on and on. And you just keep hoping that something terrible is going to happen to the person that you don't like, right? And so the completion of malice, of that action, then, so to speak, is the desire to harm them for sure. I'm definitely going to go out and do something to get rid of that guy. And so for the mind of malice, I think malice is a really important issue because something that we're quite familiar with. And so there are 5 different aspects to malice. And so it's mistakenly thinking that, I myself am truly existent, and so is the other person. And so just being completely deluded by by mistaken view. And then harboring that anger, and not just, so it's like slow burning anger and resentment towards that person. And you kind of, brood and stew and reflect on how, that person hurt you in the past. And, my gosh. And as that anger, that feeling of ill will grows, then, you feel justified in getting angry. You feel justified in whatever action, you might decide to take, right? It's like, wow, this is payback. You're getting what you deserve. I'm not wrong in going out and attacking you, right? Because you deserve it. And then having no shame about feeling, this malice, right? Because you're justified, because the other guy's, an idiot. And so you just become completely overwhelmed you're just drowning in that ill will and that malice, completely duped. And then wrong view, which is sometimes translated, like in the the Lam Rim Year publication, it's translated actually as heresy, which I thought was kind of an interesting word choice, but I think that has some pretty serious connotations. So I think I would just go back to wrong view. So anyway, it's denying the existence of the Buddha Dharma, right? So it's saying that the 4 truths, doesn't exist, or is totally incorrect, that the Buddhas don't exist, the whole 9 yards, just completely, turning away from the Buddha Dharma. So that's wrong view. Okay. Originally I thought that wrong view was limited to just, maybe some of the tenets, like thinking, but actually it would be, in a more extreme form, I guess. It's just saying that karma doesn't exist, saying that, any aspect of the Buddha Dharma is just completely untrue. So that's that. So because, you completely reject the path, so to speak, then, you'll continue to cycle in samsara.
Is the first point that you made the mistaken view of self and other inherent existence of those? It's like another aspect of wrong view, right?
So yeah, because you're rejecting the whole path, all of the teachings, and so part of that would be this misperception of reality. Right? You're just saying.
So the list kind of starts and ends with the same thing, but different aspects of the same thing. Because the first point you made was the mistaken view of inherent existence of self and other.
Yeah. So right, and so that's part of the 4 Noble Truths, right? So the whole enchilada. Okay, so with that in mind, then let's talk a little bit about creating a space for your Dharma practice, so I'm not sure exactly who's online, but if you don't have a space where, you feel like settling in to do your meditation practice, then just a couple of tips. Of course, you want to find a place that's, comfortable and quiet, and someplace where you could have a little privacy, maybe, if you live in a busy household with kids and dogs and cats running around, then try to find, maybe it's like, you have a big closet, you can just sit in your walk-in closet, whatever it is, right? Someplace where you can have a few minutes of quiet so you can just focus on on your practice and your meditation. So ideally, if you have such a space, then you could have a dedicated area so you could set up an altar. But if that's not possible, then you might have to be really flexible, keep the altar simple, and then just set it up when before you do your practice, and then when you're finished, take it down. So it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't have to be a separate room per se. I know everybody's short on space, and so that's not like a requirement or anything. It could just be a small area in your living space. Okay. And then as we get ready to prepare the altar, ideally, in the room, in the space, wherever it might be, you can have, like a table or something so that the altar ends up being higher than, like your knee height. You don't want to be really like looking down on everything. It should be, higher, if possible. So you're respectful for the holy objects, right? So you're getting ready to do your meditation practice. And so the first thing you're going to do is to sweep the room and dust off, the area where you're going to set up the altar. Even, if you just swept the day before and it's already squeaky clean, it's good to sweep anyway, because the goal is through the action of sweeping, then, you think that you're purifying, you're sweeping away the cobwebs and the accumulation of misdeeds from the past, so to speak, right? And there are many, many stories about how the great masters of the past, engaged in this, really focused on this as a preparatory practice. And so we should be like them. Pabonka Rinpoche, for example, in his Liberation in the Palm of Your Hands, he talks about how the Buddha himself, Shakyamuni Buddha himself, would sweep the Ajatavana Grove when the benefactor who donated the area, that was actually his, daily practice. But if he was, ill or whatever and couldn't do it, then at one point, the Buddha himself said, "Oh, well, I'll do it." And so he took a golden broom and he swept it nice and clean. Okay. And then there was a tradition of how the Dalai Lamas themselves, they would take care of the meditation area using a very special broom, and they would sweep to the point that, the bristles on the broom would just, wear out. So as you do that practice of sweeping and dusting the altar, then the goal is to think that all of our negative emotions, we're sweeping away our hostility, we're sweeping away that malice, that covetousness, all that wrong view, all of that is our lack of faith, whatever it is, jealousy, miserliness, all of that is being swept away. So very important to do that with the correct motivation and the correct concentration. Okay, so it can be a beautiful practice. And in fact, you can keep those thoughts in mind even when, you're just, it doesn't have to be just for your meditation area, of course, right? So if you're cleaning the kitchen, you're cleaning the bathroom, the point is just that mental training, right? Thinking that you're removing obstacles, you're removing negative karma, right? So it makes cleaning all that much more meaningful and enjoyable. You think of it in that respect. Okay, so let's say you're ready to set up your altar, right? And so I'm sure many of you already have, an altar. But according to Lama Zopa Rinpoche, um, there are a few key elements, right? And so again, the idea is it doesn't have to be complicated, right? You don't have to have everything that's suggested. If you're short on space, short on time, you do as much as you feel is practical. So now we're on slide 23. We've got like an altar setup slide. But you would hope to at least have, at the very minimum, a photo or some representation of the Buddha, right? Ideally, it would be a statue of the Buddha, but if you have a photograph, that's good too. And then if it is a statue, then you would want to fill the statue, right? So unless it's a solid statue, in which case that wouldn't be possible, but, most of the statues from Nepal, for example, are hollow. And so you would need to have them filled with mantras, correctly. And there's a whole procedure for doing that. And then consecrated by a lama. And then you might want to wrap the statue, in a kata. Yeah, see, the statues up here at Donakumpanling you can see there's just the kata. So that's just a traditional offering kind of practice. And then you might want to have a copy of a sutra or a Lamrim text also on the altar. So let's see, a good picture here. So that would be, yeah, so here we are right, just brought up the the slide on my computer. So this is the altar. If you're facing the altar, then the text would be on the left, and then that would represent the Buddha's speech, whereas the statue represents the Buddha's body. And then to the Buddha's right, if you're facing the altar, then we have the stupa. So there's a stupa over here. And that represents the Buddha's mind. So those three sacred objects would be good. You can do that. And then, if you're depending on the space and everything, if you don't quite have that enough space for those, then that's okay. You can do the best you can to accommodate. The stupa, for example, doesn't have to be very, very big. I mean, this is a beautiful, huge stupa, but most of us don't have space for or have big stupas like that. So again, it could be, a picture. It could be, like a small tsatsa, one of the clay images of a stupa, whatever you have. If you have a vajra and bell set, then you can put that also to represent mind. You can put that on the altar as well. So that would be good. So if you have a little more space, then you would have those three elements. And then as well, you might want to have photos of your teachers, right? Maybe you have an image of His Holiness the Dalai Lama and Gyaltsen Rinpoche. All your teachers can also, of course, be on the altar. And the point to keep in mind is that, as you prepare your altar, as you see your altar, then it's a source of joy, it's a source of inspiration. And even though we can't, see the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas directly right now, eventually we will be able to, through creating these causes and conditions of having the altar, of having the representations of their holy body, speech, and mind, they're with us in our space, then eventually we will be able to directly see them at some point, okay? And so when we are making the offerings and sitting down and doing our practice, then we think that, these are the actual, this is the actual Buddha, this is Tara, this is Chenrezig, this is, et cetera. And so Pabonko Rinpoche said, and he made this funny comment. He said, It's wrong to feel that you've seen the figures on the altar so often that you're quite sick of them. He actually said that. So don't go down that road. Rather, refresh your joy by meditating on their precious qualities and feeling their presence and receiving their blessings. Okay. So continuing on to slide, I think it's slide 24. This is the traditional offerings. And so, we can have also on the altar these water bowls. And in case you were interested in what they represent, oftentimes you'll just see, like, for example, up here on the altar here, and we have these sets of water bowls. And so each bowl can have a separate meaning. It can be representing a different offering substance. And so if that's the case, the first one is the water for drinking, so drinking water. And then the second is water for bathing the feet. And then the third, it represents flowers, beautiful flowers. The fourth is incense. The fifth is light. The sixth is perfumed water or scented water. The seventh is food. And then if there is an eighth one, then that would be music. So these are traditionally offered substances, things that if somebody came to your home, as a guest, you would present them with these things, right? To make the guest feel happy, feel comfortable, to delight the guest. So these are pleasant, pleasurable offerings for all of the senses. Okay, so you're making these offerings to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, hoping that they will be pleased and their minds will be filled with bliss. Okay. So then the next slide, 25, is just a representation of those same substances without the water. And actually, we did the Lama Tripa puja here on Friday. And so this is the Lama Tripa altar, which is still here. And so you'll see for different pujas, then the offerings may be a little bit different. So here we have 4 water bowls, and then the flowers, incense, light, perfumed water, scented water, and then beautiful torma. So it can differ for different reasons. But, when we're talking about something that you would do at home, then you could either just do the 7 water bowls, right? Or you can have, as in this picture, what I have at home right now is just the physical representations for some of the offerings. Okay. Any questions so far?
Are you going to talk about how you fill or replenish the water bowls?
Yeah, right in a minute. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to try to do it. Yeah. And then you'll notice in the daily prayers, or in many of the prayers that we do, that will include the offering cloud mantra. So I just put that here on slide 26. There's the offering cloud mantra, and so the idea behind going and doing the mantra then is you're multiplying, the offerings, so it's not just 7 bowls, but it's 7 gazillion bowls, right? And you think that, this huge, many offerings are being made to many Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and all the 10 directions. And it just gets very big and grand and wonderful, just so beautiful. So we practice, expanding our little minds now become bigger. And it's good. All right. So how do you pronounce it? It's Om Namo Bhagavate Vajra, Sara, Pramardane, Tathagataya, Arhate, Samyaksam, Buddhaya, Tayata, Om, Vajra, Vajre, Maha, Vajre, Maha, Tedra, Vajre, Mahavidya, Vajre, Mahabodhi, Chitta, Vajre, Mahabodhi, Mando, Pasam, Kramana, Vajre, Sarva Karma Avarana Visho Dana Vajre Swaha. Okay. So if you have time, you can do the offering cloud mantra. If you don't have time, then, just visualize, making these limitless offerings to limitless Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in the 10 directions. All right. So then, a couple of other notes on just offerings in general. We need to remember that offerings must not be obtained illicitly, like through deceitful behavior. So no stealing and lying or whatever to try to obtain the wealth necessary to get these, offerings. And also, when you're making offerings, I don't know if this is as relevant, in the context of our own daily practice, but if you were doing this on a grand scale, maybe, at a monastery and you sponsor, 100,000 candle offerings or something. And the point is that you don't want to be making these offerings with a deceitful motive, right? Like to impress other people, I'm making these very grandiose offerings and making sure that everybody knows that I was the benefactor, right? You don't want to do that. So also, if you're poor, if you're in financial distress, and you really can't offer anything, then that doesn't matter. So, the point is, again, generating that motivation and even offering, water, which is usually very plentiful, is a wonderful, beautiful offering. And there's stories of how, many many of the masters, they were so poor that they didn't even have, dedicated water bowls. They couldn't afford the water bowls. And so they would just, use their own, whatever they had. So if they had a bowl that they used to eat from and drink tea from, then, they would just clean it out really, really well. And then that was, they would fill it with water and then that was it. So very, very resourceful. Okay. Not only that, we just talked about 7 or 8 traditional offerings, but you can offer anything, right? And we're encouraged to offer anything. And so, if you look outside and you see the beautiful sun and the leaves on the trees, there are some leaves still, the beauty of the snow, all of your possessions, whatever you do have, right? It's things that, we can actually see with our senses or experience with our senses, as well as things that, are not in our direct realm of experience, but we can, imagine them, imagine the most beautiful, softest, most colorful, beautiful jewelry or, ornaments and silks and best music, whatever, right? Make all of those offerings continuously, right? So it's not just when you're sitting there on your cushion and you got the altar set up. This is a practice that you can very much, do throughout the day, right? Whenever you come across something, right? So any material things that we have, like all our stuff, all our possessions, all of our virtue, right? We're giving that away all the time, right? It's not ours anymore. That's the relinquishment, right? Renunciation, we already gave that away. And then, hi. And so as we go, through the course of the day, as we come across other things that maybe we forgot, right? Like, you get in the car and then you remember, oh yeah, I just gave my car away. And it's not mine per se, right? So just keep doing that over and over again. And, again, remember that this is a practice to increase our generosity, right? To overcome our stinginess. That's what this practice of offering is all about, and to deepen our faith. Right? So we should, make an effort to always give away the best and the choicest, things that we have or that we come across, right? And not try to be stingy and keep the best things for ourselves, in any way. So, like for example, if you come for the Lama Chöpa, I know we do this practice. And so we make offerings, as part of the practice to all of our teachers and the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. And so you bring offerings, right? And so it's kind of funny because, like if you go to the store and you're trying to figure out, oh, what should I bring, right? You want to make sure you buy the best fruit or the most beautiful flowers, etc., right? And you don't think in your mind, oh, well, at the end of the day, after the talk, gee, I really want those donuts or whatever it is, right? I really like strawberries, so I'm going to offer strawberries so I can have them afterwards. No, 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 no. You have to be very careful about your thinking there, right? And then the other funny thing about the salt offerings is that, if you participate with some members of the Tibetan community, right? Then the Tibetans will bring, 5 pounds of blueberries, 16 boxes of sweets and, candies and cakes and beautiful flowers, etc., right? And then typically, like I'll show up as a Westerner, I'll show up with like, a tiny little bag of apples or something. The order of magnitude of difference in the offerings is noticeable in my experience. Okay, so we're going to do the water bowl offerings now. And so, again, the idea behind doing the water bowl offerings is to overcome miserliness and attachment to our sense pleasures. We're setting our motivation to make these offerings for the benefit of all sentient beings, with the wish to attain enlightenment, as quickly as possible. And so offering water bowls, again, is a way of achieving the all of the qualities of enlightenment. Right? And so, again, the Buddhas don't need, these offerings, right? Even the most, they already have everything that they need. They've transcended all of the material world. And so this is strictly a practice that we're doing to benefit, ourselves, so that we will be able to attain enlightenment in the future ourselves. Okay. So to do the water bowl offerings, again, you don't have to have little glass water bowl or you can use anything, right? If you just have paper cups, that'll work too. Whatever you've got is great. These are actually little, I think they were called like ramekins or something. I got them a really, really long time ago. But glass is nice, or metal bowls are good too. And the traditional way to do this, and again, it's going to, if you've never done this before, it may seem like, wow, that's just complicated, overly complicated maybe. So I'll show you this, and then we can talk about it, and then, you can figure out a way to do it that is in the same spirit, but maybe doesn't have to be quite as complicated. But once you do it a couple of times, it becomes muscle memory, and it's not a big deal, right? So, so you've got your bowls here. The first thing to do then, let's assume that they're not cleaned, like we're going to take our water bowls, our cloth, and we're going to wash them. Make sure they're squeaky clean, right? So we've got this beautiful clean towel, and I'm going to just take the towel, and then we're going to wipe it out 3 times this way. So this clockwise, 1, 2, 3, right? Thinking that you're dispelling all the negativities, cleaning that all out, negativities of body, speech, and mind. Then you can go the other way 3 times, 1, 2, 3. And here you're increasing, you're bringing the blessings, into you. So 1, 2, 3. So you're going to do that for each of the bowls. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. All right, I'll do it anyway. So purifying and then increasing, purifying and then increasing, right? And then we are going to take our incense, and the incense fills all sentient beings' minds with enlightened wisdom, compassion, power, all the good stuff, right? So you're going to light it. I'm not actually going to light it.
Light if you want to.
So that's all right. So you're just going to smoke. You just go like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Right. So for each of the bowls, you're going to do that, filling all sentient beings' minds with enlightened body, enlightened wisdom, compassion, and power. So we've got these. They're ready to go. Right. They're over here. And then one of the things that is done traditionally when we're actually pouring the water for the offering, in order not to pollute the newly cleaned bowls, is to put a kata over your face like this. Or you can use, 21st century, you can use one of those little face masks. That works great too. I would do that not at home, to be honest, but if I were doing like an extensive, if I were doing the light offering or the water bowl offerings, then I would do that. So cute. So then you're ready to do the offering. So this is a beautiful, beautiful picture. And inside we have some water that has been infused with saffron. And so if you don't have such a beautiful, fancy, heavy pitcher, that's okay. You can use whatever you have at home. And you're going to take the first bowl and you're going to fill it. So to fill it the correct way, you're supposed to fill it slowly and then a little bit faster and then slowly. So it's a beautiful stream of not just water, but you're thinking that this is nectar, right? This is the nectar that you're offering to the Buddhas. It's not ordinary water. Also on the water, some recommend that we use not just tap water, but bottled water, so the purest water possible would be good. And so when you're pouring it,
Can I move your laptop because they can't see?
oh yeah, I'm sorry. I was stupid. Oh, great. Thank you for telling me. So we're pouring tea. Sorry, it's like pouring, like pouring the tea for a Maharaja. That's why you do it slowly and then quickly. And so it's kind of like if you go to a fancy restaurant, sometimes the waiters have that technique. So we would just
Style.
with
style.
With style, there you go, right. So here we're going to fill the first bowl completely with water. Right. Now we're going to put it aside. And then we're going to take the second bowl. So the idea is not to have empty water bowls, on the altar for too long. So then you're going to do the same thing here. You're going to fill this guy, second one. Put the first one down. Maybe I should put it here so you can see. And then keep going. 1. So I think to myself, I give everything to you, and I leave just a little bit for myself. That's my little thing. Right. And then I think I did that wrong. All right, I got it wrong. Here, let me here. Yeah. Give everything to you. I keep a little for myself, and then you just keep going. This guy goes here. There. All right. So then we're going to move our big picture. And so then on the spacing between the bowls, you don't want them to be too close and you don't want them to be too far. So you need for them to be about the space of, take your pick, a grain of wheat, a grain of rice, or a grain of barley, depending on the translation. Anyway, so if it's too close, then that makes you, like if they're touching, then that creates the causes for becoming dull-witted, like more ignorant, more susceptible to being ignorant. And then if they're too far apart, then that creates the causes and conditions for being separated from your spiritual teacher. So those are the reasons for having the spacing right. So now we're going to go back. So each of the bowls has, some amount of water. None of them are empty. And then we can think throughout the water offering process, you can think, Om, 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 Hum. And so we're, preventing any negative interferers from jumping into our beautiful watering bowls offerings. So then you're going to go back and just fill the bowls. Leaving a little space at the top there. Go back and fill them. And we put our big picture down. And then we've got our incense, this burning incense. We can go Om, 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 Om. So do one more blessing. And then that's pretty much it. So you've got them on the altar. We're all happy. And then, let's see, what else was I going to say? Put these here for now, because we're going to use them. I'll show you how to empty them at the very end. Okay. Any questions about that so far? If you didn't get the whole description, don't worry, because it's all available in a beautiful publication by Lama Zopa Rinpoche. And yeah.
Posted that in the chat as well.
Thank you.
Is it available outside of class, like in the course description or something? Yeah.
Yeah, it's I think I have it in the slides. So
Are the slides available?
yeah, I can email you the updated slides. So it's in the references section. It's got the name of the.
Perfect. That's all.
That would be great. Can I ask you a question about the level of the water? Because I feel like I've gone to places and I often see the water, right at the top of the bowls. So, but it should be a little under.
Yeah, if it overflows, there's some kind of drawback, which I can't remember right now. I mean, like you wouldn't want to do that because how are you going to empty the bowl?
It's like you're serving somebody else, right? Like, would you do that to somebody? Like, give them that, and then they would spill it out?
Okay,
So you think like it's like you're pouring tea or some kind of drink. You want it to be at like a suitable level where the person will be able to take it and consume it in a comfortable fashion.
Okay, thank you.
It's the title of this publication is called The Preliminary Practice of Altar Setup and Water Bowl Offerings. So it's on the shop.fpmt.org website, and it's in the references on slide 28. of the slide deck. Tribala, do you want to add us something or correct something that I just said?
The only thing that I wanted to say was when you pour them, and when you set them up, you have to go left to right. So
Yeah. Good point. Right, left to right, because then when you take them down, which we will do that in a minute, you go right to left. Okay. And the other thing that was, beautiful point. Why do we fill one bowl from the previous bowl? That succession of filling the bowls. So that is to carry on the lineage of the Buddha's teachings from teacher to disciple over generations. I did not know it. I thought that was so nice. So now my spacing got a little messed up. After a while, you can get really obsessive about the spacing. And you want to make them nice and straight. That's the other thing. It's got to be nice and straight. You don't want them like crooked. That just not right. Okay, so right. So we could do the offering cloud mantra. Actually, you could do it here after it's all set up. Do the offering cloud, and then so you've set all of your water bowls up, and then you think, you're presenting them to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and your teachers, and then you can, just put your hands together and say, Om Ahom, generating bodhicitta. You could say the refuge prayer. You could. The point is just that you're presenting the offerings intentionally, and you're thinking that the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas are receiving your offerings and that they're very, very pleased. Right? Okay. And you can even think, when I say Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, you can think that you can recollect all, not just the ones that are in your own home, but again, thinking big, right? You think of the holy objects throughout the world, right? Right. There's all of the holy objects in other people's homes and Dharma centers like here, right? You're making offerings to the Buddhas and to Maitreya and to Lama Tsongkhapa, representations throughout the world. So think big. It's all very good. And then the benefits of the water bowls in particular. So there are 8 properties of water, and they give rise to 8 benefits. So the first is that because water is cool, right? Cool water, then our ethics will be pure. Water is tasty and delicious. And so we will enjoy the most delicious food. Third is that because water has a property of being, lightness, then our mind and body will become fit, like physically fit. And our mind will be open and a suitable field for the Dharma. Because water has the quality of being soft, softness, then our minds also will be gentle. Our mind stream will be gentle. And then water is clear. That quality of clarity means that our mind will also be clear. And 6, it doesn't have any odor, and so it purifies us of any karmic obscurations. 7 is that it doesn't hurt the stomach, and so we'll be free of any illness. And then 8 is that it's easy on the throat, right? It makes your throat feel comfortable. It's not, acidic or bitter or anything, right? I mean, it's just easy. It goes down smoothly, I think is what we're trying to say. And so it causes us to have pleasant speech, right? Pleasant speech. Okay. How are we doing on time? 10:53. Okay, so we're going to talk about light offerings just quickly. So that's another offering that's very easy to do, and we can do it at home or, when we've got the show on the road, so to speak, when we're off of our cushion. So anytime that, we offer lights, and lights could be anything from, a little candle, a little tea light like that, or it could be, the electric lights, that we illuminate as we go into a room. And again, it could be lights that you imagine, right? And you think of like skyscrapers full of lights and lights at Times Square or whatever. There's so many, many, many lights. You can offer all of those as part of your practice. And the clearer and the brighter the light, the better. So I think of those really strong, beautiful lights. And so the idea being, why are we doing this? It's because we're visualizing or imagining that we're dispelling, the darkness of ignorance. So it's a very powerful image, very powerful practice. So every time, we turn on a light, right, which is many, many times a day, right? Every time we turn on a light, then it's an opportunity, it's a trigger, so to speak, to think that, wow, now I'm able to clear away just even a little bit more of my ignorance, right? Just wiping a little bit more out of my mind, right, by turning on a light. So, I was thinking every time that we are in the car and we get stuck at not stuck, but we stop at a traffic light, right? Again, that's a good time to just pause, and instead of getting, frustrated because we're in a rush and we wish that we'd run the yellow light instead of stopping. It's a chance to reflect on light, right? Do the little light offering practice right there. Wow. Being patient, right? Overcoming obstacles. And rekindling our motivation to attain enlightenment by helping others. So specifically, what are the benefits of light offerings? Yeah, there are 10 benefits. You become a light in the world. When you're born human, you achieve special clairvoyances. You achieve the Deva's eyes, so the God's eye. That must be pretty powerful. You receive the wisdom of knowing what is virtue and what is non-virtue. You're able to eliminate the darkness of ignorance and the concept of inherent existence. So there's the wisdom practice. You receive the illumination of wisdom, so that even in samsara, you never experience darkness. You receive much wealth and enjoyment. You're reborn in the God or human realm. You quickly become liberated. And finally, you quickly attain enlightenment. So those are some pretty powerful benefits, right, associated with making the light offerings. So even at home and on your altar, even if you just have one single, candle, then that's good. Or another thing that you can do that's really easy is to have, one of these electric candles, that's on all the time. Those are very beautiful, like this one here at the end of the altar, right? That looks like a butter lamp, but it's actually electric. And so it's, making offerings 24 hours a day. That's so cool. Very cool. All right. And so let me just a quick little aside there. So both the water bowl offerings, the light offerings, and that can be done in an extensive way, as part of accumulating vast amounts of merit as part of a preliminary practice, for a 3-year retreat. And so what I've described, so far was more in the context of like a daily practice. But if you're interested in learning more about how to do like the 100,000 water bowl retreat or the extensive light offering practice, then again, there are these wonderful publications from Lama Zopa Rinpoche that explain, how to do those. And so those are on that reference slide as well. And just on the water bowl offerings, Just to give you an example, so Lama Zopa Rinpoche had suggested to a woman who was a student of his for many, many years. This was down, and she lived in Maryland, in Silver Spring, Maryland, and he said, "Oh, you know, if you could do 500,000 water bowl offerings, you know, before you pass away in this life." She was already in her 70s when he said this. "If you could do 500,000 water bowl offerings, you know, that would help you very much." And she said, "Okay, Rinpoche, I'm going to do it." Like, oh. And you think about it, 500,000 water bowls is quite a few water bowls. So she would come here to Donut Kumpaling over the summer. She'd drive up in her little car, and then she would stay here for a month or two and just do water bowl offerings right out here. You know, she had all of the big plastic tables set up, and then lots of glass bowls, but also I think she's plastic bowls, you know, whatever bowls she could come up with. And it was just like buckets and buckets of water. So I helped her just, you know, for a couple of weeks, but I got to see her practice, and it's beautiful. Once you get into the rhythm of making the water bowl offerings, it's very, very nice, very beautiful practice. And then she finished, you know, at home. You know, she got smaller little water bowls, and she did them in her apartment in Silver Spring, Maryland, and completed the commitment. So I was very, very proud of her, very happy for her. So think of that, you know, this winter will come to an end eventually. And you can plan to do this, you know, maybe in the spring and the summer, do some water bowl offerings. And then for the light offerings, you know, Geshe-la has this beautiful little house out there, you know, that's set up specifically for doing the light offering practice. So essentially we have no excuses. If you want to do it outside there, then that's the safest way to do it, right? I mean, I'm not going to go into the fire hazards of making light offerings, but there have been some scary stories about light offerings. So you do want to be very careful. When we talk about burning up negative karma, we don't necessarily mean it accidentally setting your house on fire. Okay, so we do have, you know, these the candles and incense and everything is right here at Donut Kumpan Ling, and the fireplace is a safe place to make extensive offerings. So, for example, if you know you wanted to come here and do the practice, you know, the extensive offering practice, you're welcome to do so at any time. It's also a good practice to do if somebody has passed away and you'd like to, you know, make offerings for victims of war or natural disasters, you know, we can make the candle offerings here.
If you do it, let me know, because it can get dangerous in the fireplace. So we need to take some necessary precautions. Thank you.
Absolutely. So then we've made the offerings, we've got the water bowl offerings, we've got the light offerings. So the actual offering prayer, and this is from the publication on the extensive light offering, says, these actually performed and mentally imagined light offerings, the manifestations of one's own innate awareness, the Dharmakaya, these clouds of offerings equaling the infinite sky, I'm offering to all the gurus and Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, all the sublime ones in the 10 directions, to all the statues and stupas and holy relics, scriptures, you know, the texts, all of which are manifestations of the gurus. I've accumulated infinite merit by having generated bodhicitta, having made charity to the sentient beings, or having made, you know, offerings to sentient beings. And so may all the sufferings of the lower realms cease, you know, right now. May all the 3 realms of samsara, the desire realm, the form and formless realm, be emptied right now. May all impure minds and their obscurations be purified, and may all impure appearances be purified. Right? Okay, so if all of this seems a little too complicated and a little bit, too much to learn, then again, you can go back to offering, one water bowl, one stick of incense, having one candle. I mean, if you can make that offering again, with pure concentration, pure intent, then that's better than pushing and trying to do, a whole lot of offerings, but in a quick and confused way, right? Focusing more on the meaning and the motivations, just fine. So let's say, we've got our meditation space, we've got the altar, we've got the offerings. So now you're ready to sit down and actually do the meditation, okay? So we're going to do a shorter version of the daily meditation on Shakyamuni Buddha. And then we'll wrap up with a quick description of how to put away the water bowls. So again, the daily meditation on Shakyamuni Buddha is a little bit more extensive, but I wanted to do it because I think it really helps us get a very full understanding of the practice. And then on a daily basis, if you don't have enough time, then you could just do the prayers themselves. So you'll see what I mean. Let's see if I can find it. Push this guy out. Shakyamuni Buddha. So we'll start with the refuge, which is on page 9. The Guru is Buddha. The Guru is Dharma. The Guru is also Sangha. The Guru is the creator of all happiness. In all the Gurus, I take refuge. The Guru is Buddha. The Guru is Dharma. The Guru is also Sangha. The Guru is the creator of all happiness. In all the Gurus, I take refuge. The Guru is Buddha. The Guru is Dharma. The Guru is also Sangha. The Guru is the creator of all happiness. In all the Gurus, I take refuge. So we'll do this next one, taking refuge one time. With the thought, desiring to liberate transmigratory beings, I always take refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until the heart of enlightenment is achieved. With perseverance and acting with wisdom, compassion, and loving kindness in front of the Buddhas for the benefit of sentient beings, I generate the thought of full enlightenment. Everywhere may the ground be pure, free of pebbles and so forth, as level as the palm of the hand, in the nature of Vaidurya and soft. Savior of all sentient beings without exception, divine destroyer of the unbearable hordes of Mars and their forces, perfect knower of all things without exception, Bhagavan, together with your retinue, please come here. May divine and human offerings, both actually arranged and mentally emanated, become clouds of the finest Samantabhadra offerings, filling the entire realm of space. We'll do it one time. Om Namo Bhagavate Vajrasaura Pramadane Tathagataya Arhate Samyak Sambuddhaya Tayata Om Vajre Vajre Mahavajre Mahatedra Vajre Mahavidya Vajre Mahabodhicitta Vajre Mahabodhi Mando Pasam Karmana Vajre Saura Karma Varana Vishodhana Vajra Swaha. By the power of truth of the three rare sublime ones, the blessings of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, the great wealth of the completed 2 types of merits, and the pure and inconceivable sphere of phenomena, may these piles of clouds of offerings arising through transformation by the Bodhisattvas, Arya Samantabhadra, Manjushri, and so forth, unimaginable and inexhaustible, equaling the sky, arise, and in the presence of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 10 directions, be received. So we can stand up and prostrate 3 times. This is to multiply the merit. It also enables you to actualize the wisdom directly perceiving emptiness in this lifetime and prevents disease and harm. So this is the Manjushri, the Om Namo Manjushri Namo Sushri Namo Utamaye Shri Soha. Om Namo Manjushri Namo Sushri Namo Utamaye Shri Soham. Om Namo Manjushri Namo Sushri Namo Utamaye Shri Soham. Okay. All right. And then just one time to Guru, teacher, Bhagavan, Tathagata, Arhat, perfectly complete Buddha, glorious conqueror Shakyamuni, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. Please grant me your blessings. Okay. So then the actual practice, the visualization. So we're just going to do a shorter version of this. But think that there's think of the altar here. There's a large golden throne adorned with jewels, supported on each corner by the snow lions. And Guru Shakyamuni Buddha is seated on this beautiful lotus sun and moon cushions. He's in the nature of golden light and very magnificent, wearing the three saffron robes of a monk. Each feature of the holy body represents an aspect of his omniscient mind, his inner realizations, and demonstrates the causes and the merits collected in the past. The supreme refuge, Guru Shakyamuni Buddha, encompasses the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. And from his holy body, beams are emitted in all the 10 directions. Numberless emanations of Guru Shakyamuni Buddha are sent out. And are being sent out to ripen the infinite sentient beings such as ourselves. Okay. I take refuge in the Guru. And so then, well, as we think about taking refuge in the Guru, then you visualize 5 colored beams of light, primarily white light being emitted from Guru Shakyamuni Buddha. They enter your body and the bodies of all sentient beings, purifying in particular the negative karmas and obscurations related to the Guru. Having purified the negative karma, then we're focusing on increasing qualities associated with taking refuge in the gurus. So we think that the 5 colored beams of light, with yellow being the strongest, are emitted from Buddha. These are the qualities of Buddha's body, speech, and mind. And then so they enter ourselves, enter us, and all sentient beings. And so that our own potential, our own qualities for enlightenment increase. We receive the blessings of the Guru's holy body, speech, and mind. And next is I take refuge in the Buddha. And so again, we're thinking that this white, powerful white light enters our bodies and the bodies of all sentient beings, purifying the negative karma and obscurations associated with, in this case, with the Buddha. And then while continuing to take refuge in the Buddha, then we'd visualize the 5 colored beams of light, with yellow being the strongest, being emitted from Buddha Shakyamuni, entering us and the bodies of all sentient beings. These beams are in essence the 10 powers, the 4 fearlessnesses, the 18 unmixed qualities. So all of the holy qualities of the Buddha are then received. I take refuge in the Dharma, so visualizing the 5 colored beams of light, with white being the strongest, emitted from Shakyamuni Buddha, entering our bodies and the bodies of all sentient beings, purifying in particular the negative karmas and obscurations collected from beginningless rebirths in relation to the Dharma, such as disrespecting the Buddha's scriptures or selling scriptures or putting them on the floor, etc. I think that powerful white light enters your body and the bodies of all sentient beings and then just flushes away all of that accumulated negative karma in the form of black light or black smoke. And increasing the qualities of the Dharma, visualize that the 5 colored beams of light, with yellow being the strongest, are emitted from Shakyamuni Buddha. And these beams enter you and all sentient beings, causing you to actualize the Dharma. I take refuge in the Sangha. So while taking refuge in the Sangha, visualize the 5 colored beams of light, with white being the strongest, emitted from Buddha Shakyamuni. And the beams enter your body and the bodies of all sentient beings, purifying in particular the negative karma and obscurations associated with negativities, such as causing disharmony or schisms among the Sangha, or stealing offerings that were given to the Sangha, etc. Again, imagining that all of that negativity is washed away and leaves your body in the form of black smoke, black light. And visualize, again, the increase of the qualities associated with the Sangha, entering your body in the form of yellow light, causing you to receive the realizations of the Sangha. From the Bodhisattvas, you receive bodhicitta and the 6 paramitas, the 3 higher trainings, etc. Then on page 18, taking refuge and generating bodhicitta. We'll do that verse 1 time. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By my merits of generosity and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit transmigratory beings. The four immeasurables. How wonderful it would be if all sentient beings were to abide in equanimity, free from attachment and hatred, discriminating some beings as close and others as distant. May they abide in equanimity. I myself will cause them to abide in equanimity. Please, Guru Buddha, bless me to be able to do this. How wonderful it would be if all sentient beings were to achieve Buddhahood. May they achieve Buddhahood. I myself will cause them to achieve Buddhahood. Please, Guru Buddha, bless me to be able to do this. How wonderful it would be if all sentient beings were free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they be free from suffering and its causes. I myself will cause them to be free from suffering and its causes. Please, Guru Buddha, bless me to be able to do this. How wonderful it would be if all sentient beings were never separated from the happiness of higher rebirth and liberation. May they never be separated from these, and I myself will cause them never to be separated from these. Please, Guru Buddha, bless me to be able to do this. So then the 7-limb prayer, which is on the bottom of page 20. I prostrate reverently with my body, speech, and mind. I present clouds of every type of offering, both actually arranged and mentally emanated, and confess all my negative actions and downfalls collected from beginningless time. I rejoice in the virtue of ordinary beings and Aryas. Please remain until the end of samsara and turn the wheel of Dharma for transmigratory beings. I dedicate my own and others' virtues to the great enlightenment. And the mandala offering, we'll do the short one. This ground anointed with perfume, strewn with flowers, and adorned with Mount Meru, the 4 continents, the sun, and the moon, I imagine as a Buddha land and offer it. May all transmigratory beings enjoy this pure land. Due to the merits of offering this mandala to Guru Shakyamuni Buddha, may I, my family members, and all sentient beings be able to meet, practice, and actualize the teachings of the victorious one, Losang Drakpa, who lived an eminent life endowed with pure morality, a brave heart in doing the Bodhisattva's extensive deeds, and the yoga of the 2 stages, the supreme transcendental wisdom of non-dual bliss and emptiness. Idam Guru Ratna Mandalakam Nirayatayam. Holy body created by 10 million excellent virtues, holy speech fulfilling the hopes of infinite transmigratory beings, holy mind seeing all objects of knowledge just as they are, to the principle of the Shakyas I make requests. Guru Vajradhara, embodiment of all 3 refuges, takes the form of virtuous friends to subdue beings in whatever way is needed, and grants the supreme and common realizations. To the kind gurus, I make requests. Holy sublime field of merit, my perfect, pure guru, by making offerings and requests to you, Savior, sole root of all happiness and goodness, please bless me to be happily guided by you. Magnificent and precious root guru, please abide on the lotus and moon on my crown. Guide me with your great kindness and grant me the realizations of your holy body, speech, and mind. So then we'll skip down to mantra recitation on page 26. I think that's it. Which is, so we'll skip the foundation. Okay. So again, concentrating on the image of Buddha, visualizing white light radiating from the Buddha's heart and entering your body, speech, and mind, thinking that all diseases, spirit harms, and negative karmas are washed out in the form of black smoke. Tayata Om Muni Muni Maha Muni Soha. 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 And then we'll do the mantra recitation. And here we're just going to focus on the increase in qualities. So again, thinking that we receive from Buddha Shakyamuni all of his enlightened qualities. Tayata Om Muni Muni Maha Muni Soha. 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 And so then we think that Guru Shakyamuni Buddha melts into light and then is absorbed into us. And so we become completely one with the body, speech, and mind of our holy, precious Guru, Buddha Shakyamuni. And if you're comfortable, you can think that you arise in the aspect of Buddha, and that your heart on a moon disk is that same mantra, Tayata Om Muni Muni Maha Muni Soha. You can think that light rays are radiating from your body, and making offerings to all Buddhas and blessing all sentient beings. Okay. So, at the end of the day, when you're ready to put away the water bowl offerings, so the only thing to remember is that traditionally we pour them into a clean, container, starting with the right and then going to the left. And then you're going to take your cloth and, dry them out carefully. And then you're not supposed to leave them, upside down on the altar. Either right side up or upside down. The best thing is to just dry them off and put them somewhere else, not on the altar. Okay. And then the water itself, you can offer it to the plants in the garden or, whatever. Just don't something respectful, a respectful location. If you have, flowers that you had on the altar, then again, when they're faded or before they fade, then you can take them outside and dispose of them nicely. Food, if you had food on the altar, you can eat it yourself, or you can put it outside for the animals. So traditionally, the water bowls, in terms of when do you put them away, the advice is to empty the bowls every day And if you can, if it's convenient, if you can possibly do it, then you're going to empty them, in the late afternoon, before darkness. And don't ask me why. I don't know. But so then let's say, it's the end of the day. I just wanted to share a couple of ideas and then we'll wrap up. So I think that, we spend so much time, we're so careful about setting our motivation at the beginning of the day and dispelling any tendencies for depression and et cetera by setting a virtuous and positive outlook. Then it's by the same token, at the end of the day, it's good to just take a few minutes and think, did I accomplish, what I set out to do this morning? Let's say I was specific in what I wanted to try to do to help somebody, right? Or I was specific in how I was going to control my mind and not blow up at somebody. Did that really happen? Be honest. And if you were able to do that, then rejoice, really take a few minutes to say, wow, you were intentional throughout the course of the day. You achieved what you wanted to do. And acknowledge that, rejoice in that, because that will encourage you to continue to make that effort, right? If it didn't go the way you were hoping that it might go, what could I have done better? How can I make sure that, I don't get angry at somebody, tomorrow, right? So make that resolution and think about the ramifications of getting angry or whatever it is. Again, along the lines of counteracting depression and compassion burnout and all of that stuff that we're all dealing with, then, it's good to try to specifically identify and resolve any lingering problems from the day, right? Even if it's just accepting, acknowledging something that happened and your role in that interaction. Or maybe it's just saying, you know what, I can't change that situation, right? That's just out of my control. I have to accept the fact that I got to stay in my lane, right? I can't do anything about that. And working with that acceptance is difficult. I find it difficult. But, the more I practice, I find that I can let go. All right. And then we can do just a quick, optimism check, right? Optimism check, my mind starts going down that dark road of, oh my God, this is going to happen. Oh my God, that's going to happen. And the optimism check, is just to say, whoa, stop, stop that negative thinking and just say, what if that doesn't happen, right? What if that doesn't happen? What if I'm wrong? What if it doesn't turn out that way? Just stop. What if that doesn't happen? Can be really helpful. And then again, focusing on dedicating the merits from your day, from all of the virtue that you accumulated, from all the good that you did, all the positive things, even if it's, just helping a friend or whatever, calling your mom, something simple. Dedicate that merit so that it doesn't get destroyed and instead increases more and more. Okay. His Holiness Tsenchab Serkong Rinpoche made a beautiful comment in terms of how we should dedicate, all of these offerings that we've made, even if it's just a single candle, a single water ball. He said that may the merit from making this offering and all the merit accumulated by me, and all sentient beings' merits, right? Not all of that virtue, all of that positive virtue, not be experienced by me, but instead may all of that beautiful virtue ripen and be experienced by all other sentient beings, right? So beautiful. Whatever you've accumulated, whatever others have accumulated, it's not for me, right? Immediately just giving it away for the benefit of all sentient beings. Right? Okay. So we're going to end there. And for anybody who's interested in the details of the mandala offering in the new updated slide deck on slides 18 to 23, I put some additional information about the mandala offerings. So it's got the 37 heat mandala offering prayer, which we say, as part of Lama Tripa, et cetera. But if you are interested in the specifics of what's offered, And the 37 heaps, the 25 heaps, and the 23 heaps, it's on those slides. So that's there for your reference. If you're interested in receiving the slides and you don't have them, then my contact information is on the very last slide, and it's tendrol108@gmail.com. You can, if you have any questions, etc., feel free to contact me. And I will be happy to do that.
Just one more thing about the water bowls. When you dispose of them, just from Gishadage saying this to me, is that in addition, like the plants, this is, great. If you can, throw it outside somewhere, like on the lawn or somewhere where people won't walk.
Yeah, that's right. Step on it.
Yes, don't throw it somewhere where people are going to walk. If you can't throw it on like the lawn or the garden or something like this. And also try not to pour it like down the same sink that like you brush your teeth and like you spit in and things
Right, not
like
the
this.
toilet.
Or in the toilet. If it's like a sink that's like, more clean or something, then this is like acceptable. But I mean, if you just have one sink or something, then okay. But this is really just kind of like best practice to do it with. But if you don't have those things, then you have to adapt as necessary.
Great. Okay. Good. Okay, dedication prayers. I know we're just a little bit over. I think it's on the slide somewhere.
The conclusion on the
dedication prayers in the slide deck.
On the slides.
Yeah. I can tell you what slide it's
on. Yeah.
May the precious supreme bodhicitta not yet born arise. May that arisen not decline, but increase more and more. In the land encircled by snow mountains, you're the source of all happiness and good. All-powerful Chenrezig, Tenzin Gyatso, please remain until samsara ends, so that your holy deeds may bless the nature of fortunate disciples, and that the Lord of 10 Powers teachings and realizations spread. You shine the lamp of logic for intelligent minds, spiritual friend who shows the way. To you we pray. Great. Thank you so much. Sorry for going over a little bit. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you.